My name is Garrett Miller. In the Department of Rift Operations, I'm registered as an E rank. That means I only get sent into black windows to fill empty slots, sweep up leftover loot, distract cryptids, and if someone has to die, it's usually us. Statistically, we don't survive more than 3 raids. Today is my second. The black window opened at exactly midnight, as always, right in the foundation of an abandoned shopping mall on the outskirts of Baltimore. The seconds dragged like thick oil. In the window of a former toy store, the glass darkened, forming a perfect ellipse. The cold sucked all the air out of the room, and a familiar stab of pain split my skull. The medics call it contact migraine, the first sign you're being let inside. System: Welcome, Hunter. Status: E rank, unconfirmed. Window closes in 66 minutes. Objective: survive. The dry letters scrolled right across my retina. The first time it happened, a month ago, I thought I was going insane. Now I'm used to it. The system speaks inside your skull, like the echo of a toothache. I stood with 3 strangers, all ranked higher than me. 2 D ranks with crossbows, and a C rank tank. Colt Barker, a broad-shouldered veteran in a full power suit. Barker didn't even look at me, just grunted. Your support. Grab scraps and don't die. We stepped through the ellipse and entered a long stone corridor. The ceiling vanished into a smoky violet haze, like someone had shut off the sky. The air smelled of dry ice and rust. Each step rang like a hollow bell. Behind us, the window sealed with black film. No way out until the raid ends. A minute later, the air crackled with clicks. Creatures started oozing from the walls. Membrane-skinned lizards with eyeless sockets, 6 legs, and spiral mouths full of teeth. Standard biters, level 3 to 4. Barker raised his shield generator. The crossbow snapped to life. I clutched my pack, teeth chattering, scanning the floor for anything useful. Gray crystals, mana dust. Cheap, but better than nothing. I tossed them in my bag. Was this about farming XP? Doubt it. The first wave went down fast, but then came bigger ones, thicker, with black plating on their backs. One leapt onto Barker's shoulders. I saw his C-rank armor rupture like tinfoil. The tank screamed. Blood sprayed from his neck. He managed to yell, "Fall back!" And then the ground buckled. Roots slithered up through the stone tiles. Slick, metallic vines. A boss ground. Way above this window's difficulty level. System difficulty anomaly detected. Adaptive challenge. Survive the chaos. Reward: please 1 level, random perk. Failure penalty, bodily punishment. I don't even remember deciding. Instinct kicked in. I dove into a side alcove. The D-rank archer next to me screamed as a root skewered her through the gut. At the last second, she shoved her pack into me. A plasma spike missed my face by an inch. It detonated. Blinding heat. Stench of smoke. I came to under a pile of debris. Blood trickled from my ear, but I could move. Everything was quiet. Dust settled, revealing the chamber. What was left of our squad lay around a cracked obelisk. Barker, half a torso. The archer charred into a brittle shell, glassy eyes frozen. The boss trap had gone silent. Text lit up on my inner screen. System challenge complete. You are the sole survivor. Level +1. Perk acquired. Black-skinned. Effect: 50% head damage. Sclera remains permanently black. Congratulations, Hunter. Your journey begins. Black-skinned. Didn't need a mirror. My left eye was already turning coal dark. No pain. Just a weird tickle at the base of my skull. 50% head damage. Sounded like a blessing. But I realized I couldn't remember the other D-rank's name. It slipped away like it had never existed, and instead of grief, I felt nothing, a quiet void. I checked the corpses. 37 mana crystals, 2 low-grade healing potions, and a return scroll. Just read it, and the corridor spits you out at the nearest exit. But the system whispered again, this time like sandpaper in my brainstem. System hidden quest active. Stay. 30 more minutes and collect 100 units of mana dust. Reward: Plushie 3 levels, name registration unlocked. Penalty: memory punishment. a random personal fact will be erased. I stood surrounded by bodies glowing faintly in tar-red ash. Stay, and risk everything. Leave, and stay a pawn, stuck at E rank, forever. The migraine pulsed sweetly. The void in my head murmured, "You'll never get that name back anyway. Why mourn what you can't remember?" I tightened my pack, picked up the archer's crossbow, and forced it into reload. The system blinked warmly. 2958 remaining. The black window was long gone, but the dungeon still breathed with damp electric energy, ready to shape even the weakest if they gave something in return. I stepped forward, where fresh biters stirred in the dark. The timer ticked on. Battle resumed. 6 hours. That's how long it took to grind the system counter to a full 100 units of dust. When the black window finally blew open again with a gust of air, I stepped out into the dawn-lit parking lot, now level 4. The mana crystals in my pockets burned like embers. System. You have completed the hidden quest. Pulse 3 levels. Perk. Dry blood. Wounds no longer bleed. Achievement unlocked. Unidentified butcher. New registry role available. Choose a name. I tapped the first one that popped up. Gray. That's how the department database got its new phantom, the weakest E rank, who leveled to B rank in under 24 hours. After that, everything blurred into a quiet farm loop. I entered Windows the moment the alert sounded, cleared out biters, harvested mana, snagged loot, backed off, fired a crossbolt, sliced a tail, over and over. Each upgrade erased something from memory. The names of school friends, my sister's face, the taste of my favorite bourbon. The void inside grew, but in return, my muscles hardened like steel wool, and my eyes learned to track movement in total dark. On Raid 15, the system gifted my first skill. Suppress sound by 3 dB around self. The world went muffled, like everything was wrapped in cotton. Perfect. Cryptids react to noise. Then the text wound started. In the 20th dungeon, I found a brick wall that shifted. Its surface pulsed, and from its porous grain, tar-black letters oozed out. Objective updated. Collect 10 heads. Remaining, 10. The letters twitched like they were alive. When I touched them, the brick turned soft and warm, like someone's skin. I blasted the text with a bolt. A new one grew a foot away. Even after I left the window, a counter blinked inside my eyelids. 9:10. I had to go back and finish it. Each torn-off cryptid head erased one number from the fleshy display. By day 3, I wasn't even surprised when messages bubbled straight out of monsters' meat, when blood turned to glowing text, Poem 1 LVL, and their flesh dried up instantly. I'd heard of Cassie Young before. A rank, leader of the Duskwalkers. They said she hit her level cap 2 years ago, and her body started charging a price. Her shoulders were sprouting violet-black crystals, her ear had turned into a sound resonator, and the spikes on her back vibrated with every scream. We met on my 40th raid. I dropped through a window at Talde Street and landed in a massive chamber, arched walls plated in alien metal. She was there, flanked by 5 B ranks. One of them glanced at my badge, Gray, B rank, and snorted. Solo? Cute. This place has a level 90 mini-boss. Cassie raised her hand. The spikes on her shoulder let out a soft chime. Let the rookie try. What's your price to join the formation? I said, 0. I only take XP. The mini-boss was a storm of screen flesh, 50 meat-covered panels pulsing in an amphitheater grid. Each screen flashed chrome text, pain, 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 soft leave, a piece of yourself cables whipped out like tentacles. Every touch burned words into your skin. A smoking script that clung like acid ink. The squad's attacks vanished into the wall of noise. But when I triggered 3 dB, the sound thickened like wet wool, and the texts flickered, started fading. That's when I got it. It fed on noise. I stepped forward. A tentacle lashed my arm, branding the word silence. The system blinked. Criteria absorbed. Rank A. New ability. Lingering void. 6 dB for 10 seconds. I tapped it. The world popped into vacuum. Not even my heartbeat was audible. The screen flesh shuddered. Fonts disintegrated like dust on film. Cassie slashed. Her crystals rang out like a resonant chord. The panels collapsed in gray pulp flakes. The whole fight lasted 20 seconds. The A-rank stared like I'd just stepped out of the void holding a loaded revolver. Cassie offered her gloved hand. The crystals on her arm glinted lilac. You know how to kill sound. I need that for a major boss. Help me. I'll give you a scroll of sin reversal. It can purge that filth from your body. She touched my blackened eye. I know how it burns from the inside. We sat by the humming exit portal. The obelisk pulsed orange. Cassie explained. An order had come down from above. Clear out the cradle, an S-class dungeon. There's a boss inside that sings lullabies, and the sound melts bone. No tank can handle the siren's ultrasonic pitch. They needed my vacuum. The scroll of sin reversal was in the boss's heart. I watched the fracturing crystals on her arm, and saw the living nerve pulsing inside them. I imagined my eye forever charcoal, and my skin turning to slag. The system read my thoughts faster than I could. New quest, partnered, enter the cradle, silence the boss's voice for 30 minutes, retrieve the scroll of sin reversal, reward, +5, LVL, undo any one-body mutation, penalty, curse of speech, loss of voice. Cassie asked, "You in?" I looked into the oval exit marker. The black window buzzed, ready to swallow the next lunatic. The scroll might bring back my humanity, or take the last shred of my voice, but standing still meant rotting until screen flesh etched expired into my chest. I nodded. System quest accepted. Raid departure, 24H. For the first time since my first migraine, I didn't feel empty. I felt ready. Like a diver, just before the leap. The system marked my forehead with a pulse. T24 Chew. Will I remember who my mind already forgot? I don't know. What matters is this. I need to shed the sin before it swallows what's left of gray. I didn't sleep a second before the raid. The system ticked toward the cradle. T23 59 59. T23 59 58. Each pulse throbbed in my temple. Phantom text shimmered on the walls of my apartment. Will you even have a tongue left to scream? I held my phone up, trying to recall my older sister's number. But all that was left was a blank frame, a female silhouette, name erased like sand from a screen. Cassie messaged me. Meet at the docks, 2:00 a.m. Don't be late, Gray. Her crystals were spreading. She attached a photo. A jagged violet ridge now crossed her collarbone, like glass had erupted from the flesh. The black window opened right into the gutted belly of a rusted tugboat, beached and forgotten. Inside, it reeked of salt and old engine grease. Cassie's team, 6 A-ranks, 2 blade fighters, a support metalig, a shield bearer known as Salt Bull, and Cassie herself, the Crystal Witch. System location. Cradle of Wailing threat level, S. Main objective, pacify the Song Mother. Optional, retrieve the scroll of sin reversal. Rust had peeled from the floor, revealing strange markings, lines from a children's rhyme, written again and again in bloody red script. When I read them, the words throbbed like a heartbeat through the metal. Cassie activated a barrier pulse. A faint dome of violet light muffled all noise around us. Your silence will cover us at the core, she said. We only need 30 seconds. The scroll's in the boss's heart. One strike and we're out. I nodded, throat chalk dry. The cradle felt like crawling through a ship's intestines, but the steel had turned to flesh. The walls shimmered with pearlescent skin. Semi-transparent vein cables pulsed through the bulkheads. A lullaby echoed from somewhere deep, hushed, hushabies, but the words slurred like someone was singing with their mouth sewn shut. The system warned. The closer to the core, the louder the song, and the softer your bones become. At the first bend, we hit a country storm. The ceiling split open. Dozens of music boxes rained down, each playing a warped tune. Metallic Lori tried to deflect them with a kinetic field. One box struck her chest, and her armor turned to sticky wax in seconds. I could hear her sternum creaking, bending. System curse of flesh, triggered. Wax cage. While Lori screamed, I activated 6 dB void. The sound poured inward. Music boxes froze mid-air, like puppets with cut strings. Cassie's crystal spear lashed out. 8 boxes burst, oozing amber honey. Lori collapsed, but she was alive. Silence timer ticked. EU04. EU03. Her ribs hardened in place, fused with scar lines. We ran. The lullaby deepened. Now it was a chorus of sleepy children. The cradle's core was a vast round chamber. Chains, thick, umbilical, hung from the ceiling. Each one held a cradle cage, gently swinging. Inside, humanoid forms, curled like fetuses, asleep. At the center, on a cast-iron pedestal, stood a crib, tall as a throne. That's where the song mother sang. Her upper half was hidden behind a bronze bear mask, and from behind it spilled lullabies in overlapping voices. Her lower half, many-legged, wrapped in bandages crawling with baby rattles. Cassie's crystals quivered. I felt my bones swell with liquid. The system blinked. Danger. Ultra-acoustic field detected. 24,000 hertz. Trigger ability. Lingering void. Not yet, I whispered. Let her get closer. The blade fighters lunged. Chains screamed. The cradles snapped open. The fetuses weren't creatures. They were screens, translucent, pulsing with text. Silence. They screamed without sound, and my wrist bones softened like clay. I hit silence. The world collapsed inward. The lullaby became pure gesture, a mute ballet of hands. The song lost its hold. The screen fetuses wilted. Below, the song mother boiled with rage. She tore off her bear mask, revealing a mirror face, and in it, my face. But with ribs turned inside out. My second eye, jet black. Letters flared across her mirrored skin. Rename available mode, interface. It burned my eyes. Pressure built. The silence timer ticked. 10. 09. Cassie struck. Her blade hit the reflection, and in the shatter, the scroll, glowing amber. But the mirror mask exploded and the system buzzed. PC code unlocked. System. A parasite goal. 100% assimilation. White noise flooded my skull, as if silence itself was screaming. Then came a voice. A child's voice, through the system's UI. Don't be scared, Mommy. We're only learning how to talk. My legs collapsed, bones turning to foam. Silence timer. 2. 1. I ripped the scroll free, reading the glyphs. A burst of light. The lullaby returned, piercing my brain with 1 billion needles. But Cassie's crystals vibrated, a counter-harmony shielding us in a bubble. She pressed the scroll to my chest. System sin, reversal attempt, detected. Confirm, yes, no warning. Reset will remove all effects, but trigger quest. Karma transfer. The half-broken song mother reached toward us with her gaping mouth. Screen flesh text flickering inside. Even if you free yourself, I will find a new cradle. The blade fighters were already melting, like cheap wax. I hit, yes, flash. Pain vanished. I lay beside the shattered pedestal. Legs solid, sclera white. Cassie knelt beside me. Her shoulder crystals had blackened and cracked. She gave me a crooked smile. The scroll passes sin to whoever's closest, she said. That's me. The shards crawled across her throat. Her eyes hardened into violet glass. She handed me a chip drive. Dr. Lashley's lab, that's where these cradles come from. We take down the source. We starve the parasite. But you, I'm fine, Gray. I still have my voice. The system returned with a new whisper. No mechanical filter now. It was soft, motherly. New quest. Kill the organ keeper. Trigger final reset. Reward. Last remnant of humanity penalty. Speech. Curse transferred to Cassie. Progress. 0p1. I helped her to her feet. Behind us, the cradle decayed into ash. Ahead, a man-made hell. The lab that extracts text from our bodies. Cassie walked, her crystals flaking like violet ash, leaving a glowing trail behind us. The system was already counting down again, eager for the next threshold. T18, D2. Dr. Lashley's lab was hidden beneath the county's crumbling morgue. We took a service elevator down, a plain metal box, except for the B3 button. Someone had scratched it so deeply, the 3 looked more like a J. When the doors opened, the smell hit us. Formaldehyde and ozone. Below were hangars of stainless steel, lined with biocapsules, each glowing faintly with a text file. ID 329, see last song, ID 402, D bone map. Inside the capsules floated hunter body parts, each hooked to a panel, kept alive through thick cables. A living archive. System location, disposal hub, J-Core, quest. Objective, 01 organ keeper side. Goal, reach count 1000, current 997, 997. That number stuck. The system never said it was tracking my kill count. But now I realized, every hunter who died near me got logged as my frag. That thought made my skin crawl under the armor. He waited among vats labeled Karma Extract. Tall, gaunt, rubber apron. His eyes replaced by glass lenses, flickering with faint scrolling text beneath the surface. Welcome, Gray user, he whispered. The system is ripe. Only final integration remains. Lashley raised his hand. A snare of cables dropped from the ceiling and stabbed into Cassie. Her crystals flared with violet heat, but the cords had already begun draining fragments of her energy. I instinctively triggered the silence shield, 6 dB. The cables hissed. Lashley stepped back. She favors you more, he muttered. Just 2 more souls. You're the perfect interface. Above his head, a display lit up. 998, 1000. One of the capsules went dark. Someone had just been used up, like a battery. Cassie, clutching at the writhing cables, lunged forward. Her crystals formed a spear that smashed an entire row of capsules. I fully triggered void silence. The world collapsed into hush, and the panels flickered out, one after another. Lashley responded. The floor opened, revealing a mechanical rig. An exosuit built from hunter limbs, preserved and slotted into sockets. A Frankenstein golem. Each arm held a weapon. S-rank crossbow, axe, plasma whip. We split. I went for the golem. Cassie went for the doctor. In the silence, everything worked like a manual. My sound null drained momentum from his strikes, and Cassie's blade cut with surgical grace. But void was fading. Timer. Z08. Z07. The golem pierced my armor, cracked ribs showing. No blood. My dry blood perk held, but the pain blurred my vision. System optimal shortcut, available. Kill Cassie Jung, immediate sin. Reset reward, 1000, 1000. Through the pounding in my ears I heard her scream. Lashley had driven a harpoon syringe into her crystallized chest, draining raw mana. The system's whisper turned sweet. Just 1 blow, and it's all over. Void timer. EO2. Yeti. E. I raised my arm. Wasn't this enough? Instead, I ripped a cable from the golem's knee and threw it straight into the panel above Lashley's head. A burst of sparks blinded us. The counter flared. 999, 1000. Almost like it had been waiting. Cassie collapsed. The spikes on her shoulders crumbled into ash. Lashley lunged toward the console, trying to force Karma back into the system. I activated a local silence field, 3 dB, and reached him in 2 steps. Through the static, I heard his hiss. "You still don't get it, do you? The system is machine hunger for text. You're just a pen, writing in meat." I drove a crossbolt into his throat. The console sparked. The counter froze. 999. The system stuttered. "Update. 1 more participant required. Invitation sent." A wall screen lit up. A webcam feed. A viewer, whoever was watching the story, was now connected. Text under the feed. "Confirm participation. Click or look." Cassie raised a hand, holding out a faintly glowing crystal shard. "Break it," she mouthed. "Cut the link before it hits 1000. But the webcam shimmered. The floating white letters inside pulsed. "1 click, and you're truly free." The bone in my left forearm had turned transparent. Beneath the skin, tiny lines of text, kill logs. The system whispered warmth behind my eyes. "Just a little more, Gray. Give me 1000, and your blood will be red again." Cassie dropped the shard. Her crystals shattered like glass, but her eyes still begged. I clenched the shard. It cut deep. A sharp chime echoed. The ceiling cables crackled with sparks. The capsules powered down. The webcam flashed red. Connection lost. System critical error. Assimilation, 99.9%. New window required. A cable fell from above and slammed into the floor. The concrete split, revealing a small black ellipse. A new window. The system was trying to escape. I looked at Cassie. Her eyes were human again, but her voice was gone. Speech curse. She nodded. "Do it." I grabbed the cables and shoved them into the ellipse, ignoring the pain. The portal flared, burned copper, and collapsed in on itself, as if the void swallowed its own mouth. Silence. The counter screen was dead. For the first time since the first migraine. The system said nothing. We emerged into a gray sky. Cassie couldn't speak. I couldn't cry. Instead of words, she wrote on her palm with a marker, "Are we free?" I wanted to say yes, but deep inside my skull there was still a faint flicker, like a string of text, searching for a cursor. I listened. Nothing. Maybe it was just the blood echo, or maybe 99.9% still waits for one last confirmation. After all, that viewer's webcam may have connected before I severed the cable. If one day someone offers you an easy sin reset, remember the counter. 999 out of 1000 is still too cheap for a system that writes in flesh. The story ended in silence. But if your screen ever flashes an invitation, don't click. You might be the missing fragment. If you made it all the way to the end, then you're exactly the kind of person I'm looking for. Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. I hope I can keep bringing you more stories, to make you smile, or maybe to scare you.